What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this album from R.A. the Rugged Man called All My Heroes Are Dead. Now, R.A. the Rugged Man is a rapper who's coming out of New York, and he's been active since the early 90s, and this is his follow-up album to 2013's Legends Never Die. That said, I think underground hip-hop fans were really waiting on this one, because you know what you're going to get from R.A. the Rugged Man. He brings a lot of complex, intricate schemes and flows over sample-based production, and he is known to get into some pretty interesting themes and concepts. You're going to pick up on some of these things right away on the opening track called The Introduction, and he sets the tone on this one by delivering various flows over various production styles. So you're going to get a couple beat switch-ups, he's going to be rapping in a more rapid-paced style, going into hyperspeed, just back and forth all over the place, sort of flexing his skills. And he does make it clear that despite a hiatus to do the fatherhood thing, he is back with the bars and taking hip-hop music seriously as he spits. This is for those that admire fire flows and bars. This is not a fashion show, clothes, money, hoes, and cars. So you certainly are going to get an old head / golden era vibe here. Whether or not that's a good thing is up to you, but I think the old heads like myself will appreciate some of the stuff that he's getting into on here. Like on Life of the Party, for example, where we're getting this playful, nostalgic sound as R.A. reflects on his grimy ways and how he's trying to move on and evolve from that. Absolutely love the sound of this, and there's some pretty funny moments on here, how he's talking about some of the nasty shit that he used to do, how he used to beat up his fans, but now he's going a bit easier on them, all those sorts of things. And then with Golden Oldies, we get one of my personal favorites, as Slug and R.A. are showing love to classic hip-hop and dropping some of those old head bars that I mentioned. Like when R.A. is spitting about how he's realizing the age gap between him and his girlfriend due to their different music tastes and how she hasn't even heard of some of the artists that he knows. I just thought that was kind of funny because as I get older, I find that I'll be talking to younger hip-hop fans, and some of them haven't even heard tell of certain Wu-Tang members or the Wu-Tang Clan, period, man. Obviously, people who are really into hip-hop would know that, but I know there have been times at work where I've been talking to younger coworkers, talking about certain artists and groups, and they have no clue. So I thought that was pretty funny, and that's something that people who are a little bit older will certainly be able to relate to. And since I did mention the Wu-Tang, you are going to get some of their members showing up on here. On Dragonfire, we're getting this gritty track where Ghostface sounds better than he has in years, certainly much more inspired than he did on his last album. You also have Master Killa on here, who I think is continuing to be the most underrated Wu-Tang member. He put out a lot of great solo albums, but I don't see people giving him enough love. And even Kool G Rap shows up on this track to prove that at 51 years old, he can still spit with the best of them, man. So this was just a gritty posse cut. Absolutely love the bars on this one. I would say it is a hip-hop purist dream. And it's the same thing with EKNY, where R.A. the Rugged Man and Inspector Deck are spitting some grimy, vivid bars about New York, giving a little bit of history of things they've seen there and witnessed. Thought that was a dope-ass track. But the ultimate MC Posse Cut award on this album has got to go to the song called The Slayers Club. On this one, you are getting M.O.P., Vinny Paz, Chris Rivers, Onyx, Chino XL, Brand Nubian, and Ice-T, all going in on this one. They're all delivering a couple of bars. It's not an overly long track, but everyone fits in. And I just really like the chaos of this track, because you'll get a couple bars from one person, then the next person comes in, then the next person comes in. They all bring a very unique style. And it was certainly cool to hear from Ice-T again, man, because he is a GOAT. He is a legend. A lot of people just think of him for what he does on, what is it, CSI or whatever fucking show he's on. I don't watch any of that shit, but I know he's on one of those. But, you know, he was a legend back in the day, and he still is. So it was good to hear Ice-T on there. And along with all these bar fests is also some of that deeper content that I mentioned at the start of the review. So for storytelling tracks, we have Wondering. This has a soft piano backdrop from Nova Scotia's own Classified. Shout out to Class. As well as a gentle hook from David Miles, as R.A. is on here telling some brutally vivid stories. He goes into detail about a rape that occurred, and he also goes in about a heroin addict on this track as well. Just some very, very vivid stories. He's great at putting out details, and it's the same thing with the song Angelic Boy. This shit was kind of hard to make it through too. This one could hit home for some people, as R.A. is rapping about the story of a teen spree shooter. And again, I keep saying the word vivid, but that's what it is, man. He is painting the picture of the people who are suffering at the hands of this guy. And then on the last verse, he ties it all together by speaking on the media and how they get kind of divisive and they approach different stories in different ways. Sometimes they tend to glorify these killers while also ignoring the victims. Really was a powerful track, I thought. I liked it a lot better than the mass shooter track that Eminem did. I just think this one sounded better. I think the storytelling was a bit better. Not that you have to compare, but I did kind of think of that song, so I'm saying it. And I would say this is one of the best storytelling tracks I've heard of 2020 so far, so I was definitely impressed with that. But one thing I will say about this album, I've mostly talked about the positives, is that it is 22 tracks long, so as you would expect, you're going to get a bit of a mixed bag here. I think anyone who listens through this will be picking and choosing which type of tracks they like, which ones they don't. I mean, you do that with every album, but when you have this long album with so many different styles, concepts, and ideas, that picking and choosing goes on a little bit more, in my opinion. So for a couple of examples of songs I didn't really like, we have All Systems Go. This one just felt like one of those rapidy rap tracks for the sake of it, and Gotta Be Dope with Afro is the same vein, in my opinion. If you like that spiritual, lyrical, miracle type of rap, you're absolutely just gonna nut in your pants hearing these songs, but that shit to me gets kind of old. I'm not into it. There's also a bland rap slash soft rock ballad, for lack of a better way of putting it, called Living Through a Screen. Didn't like the sound of this one, especially that hook. This deals with how people are obsessed with cell phones. He also goes into the ills of the world. And another song I didn't care for is Hate Speech. This is one where RA is just spitting all kinds of shock value shit as he defends free speech. And you know, it's not that it's like offensive to me or anything like that. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you can't say that, he can't do that. I'm not like that at all, but it just felt kind of forced and a little bit cheesy to me. It is what it is. That's part of what makes RA who he is. But that song in particular, I didn't really like that one. And the Big Snatch is one where he's just rapping about this giant Big Snatch, just a woman who has a huge vagina, a vagina wall longer than the Great China Wall, he says, over a cartoonish backdrop. These are some of the songs that I didn't like. I know a lot of people do like that stuff, so I'm not really trying to take that away from him as an artist. Like I said, you're going to be picking and choosing here. But I did think Legendary Loser, which also has a sort of playful, cartoonish feel, much like the Big Snatch, I did like this one better. It has that playful, whimsical sound to it, and RA is just rapping about embracing his scumbag nature. So you do get a bit of mixed messaging throughout this album, because there's parts where he's rapping about how he's trying to move on from that and evolve and become a better person. He's a father now and this and that. But then that true style, RA the Rugged Man, is still there, where he's getting grimy, which is fair, you know, because people have many sides. I do understand that. But those were some of the moments on here that I didn't care for. There's just a lot of stuff to get into. Like, there's no way you could break every single thing down here. It's such a long project. You're also going to get some politically charged joints called Who Do We Trust and Malice of Mammon. These tracks feature Immortal Technique and Chuck D, respectively. You get the daughter dedication track, Firstborn. RA is just covering a lot of bases here, which certainly does show his versatility. But overall, for me, I would go with a 7 out of 10 here. I just found myself picking and choosing, and it's like the songs I do like, I really like. There's probably 5 or 6 songs out of the 22 that I could see myself having in rotation. Then there are a couple that I appreciate, and I can see why people might like them more than me. There's good things happening there, some good content, good rapping, flows, schemes, that sort of stuff. But then there's a lot of songs on here that I didn't like either. So this to me was a really mixed bag. I still thought it was pretty good. I thought the production choices throughout were nice for the most part. You also got the rhyming. That is just really good on this, man. I know he does do that rapidy spiritual lyrical miracle stuff that I mentioned earlier, but he does pace himself a lot on these songs and also just make better songs than some of the other guys that are doing it out there. I've seen some people sort of lump him in with people like Logic, Joyner Lucas, and Eminem, even Hopsin. Like, you certainly can see some comparisons there, and when he is doing that shock value force type of stuff especially, you might pick up on that, and those were some of the tracks I didn't like. But there were a lot of songs on here that I did like. So a light 7 out of 10 for me. I think is pretty good. It's not something that'll be on my year-end list. I don't think it's as good as his last project, but hey, it is what it is, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this one, so let me know down below what you think. Make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.